Yo, what's up, man? It's your boy D went on the porch. And just like I told y'all, we're in the Comedy House today. And I brought some friends with me. We're going to be talking about dating and relationships. And guess what? What better way to do it but in the Comedy House? Because sometimes relationships and dating can be comical. You know what I'm saying? You can laugh, you can hurt, you know. It's all that, you know what I'm saying? So we just gonna go ahead and get right into it. We're gonna get right into it. So I'm about to introduce my guests. I've got some good friends. They became good friends today. I didn't know none of these people before today. Just knowing them from social media, knowing them from my producer Linda, and we brought them together. And today we actually vibing, like we really like vibing up here. You know what I'm saying? We've been vibing since it started. So let me just tell y'all who we got. So I'm gonna start off on that end over there.
You gonna start on that end, no?
Sidney, you know what? We got my man Sidney Mac. Sidney Mac. See, bro, that was happening, man. See, come on, bro, give me something else. What that was?
Hey, what's going on?
Oh.
I'm happy to be here. Yes. All day, every day.
Oh my God. I got my girl Shawny here. She run her own thing, Classic Curves, man. What's going on with you, baby? Oh, another soft talking person. Jesus, what did I do? Man. So, man, I got the inspiring actress here. Plus, she's a school teacher. And I don't want to hear nobody erupt when I say the school she teaches.
No, don't even say it. Don't you say it. Don't you? Hey, y'all, move on, man.
My girl Laci B, man. Yo, but look, I always wanted to do this one, dude. Y'all know when y'all was in the hood growing up, and it was always that one person with that one name, and she got her name called the one way only. Yo, Renata! Renata, what's happening, Renata? Man, I got my girl Renata sitting next to me. Y'all know that was the only way y'all said her name, with action. Like, what's up, Renata? I'm lying.
Animating, yes. It's very animating.
Man, then we got my girl Daniela. This is the therapist. This is the psychologist. I don't know. She gonna try to dip into people's brain over here, but I
don't do that. I don't do
you
that.
Don't do that.
I don't do that. I'm just me. Wherever I show up as me.
Okay. Moving on. And we got my boy Jovan right here, man. He got the NOLA Love clothing line, man. Go check it out, man. He got some good pieces that be out there. I especially like the one with the papaya symbol, you know, with the NOLA Love going through it, the Mardi Gras stuff. Go check my boy out, man.
I got you on that one.
My boy Jovan. So that's the crew. We about to get into this thing, man. And let's go. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready?
Do it.
Let's go. So here's the thing. We're gonna keep it real funky in here today, right? We're gonna keep it real funky. So we all have been in love, right? We all have been in love. We all have had our hearts broken, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all have broken some hearts. Mm-hmm. Right? True. We all have did some stuff that we ain't too proud of in relationships, right?
No, I'm perfect.
Absolutely.
I'm lying.
I'm gonna throw you out there with that one. So basically, we just trying to figure out, man, what are some of the things that we can possibly change or add to make it better. You know what I'm saying? So let's just start with, we in a new day and time, right? With the whole dating and relationship type scene, right?
Yeah.
A lot of things take place today that some of us never saw, because all of us on the stage probably over 40.
Why y'all looking at me? Look at me. That's an assumption that you made.
We can at least say that we all experience some stuff that's in a common ground. Let's just go with that.
There we go.
Okay, you know women don't like to tell their age.
There we go.
All these women in their 20s.
No, I'm not 40 yet though. I'm forever 29.
Real.
Wow, damn. Okay, let's go. Moving on. Let's go. So basically, with the changing, with the way everything has changed since we've been teenagers to now. the dating scene has changed, relationships has changed, right? The way people interact has changed.
Right.
So, and then the culture of New Orleans, by it being small, and you know, it's a shot that you may know each other, or we all hang out in the same areas. It's a difference now. It's a big difference. So with that being said, and anybody could jump in. With that being said, what are the things that make it feel different for you, and what you think you can do, or what you think or how you feel about where it's going, or are you dating, or are you out of the dating scene because you don't like the way it's going, or are you in a relationship, are you in multiple relationships, or if you in
I want to know about who's in multiple. Y'all tell me.
Well, what I will say is, I believe that we're in a situation where everybody's becoming numb, because back then you had to go somewhere. Now you don't have to go nowhere. You don't have to go to the event, and y'all can't find over those things. Everybody's be just on their phone, and they're really going for the next hit of reaction. So it's such a different atmosphere just off that alone, and we're kind of trying to get used to it. Because like I said, you got different people, different age group. So some people connect only at events. Now you got people trying to connect only on texting. Then you got another person trying to connect only on calling on the phone. And everybody have this type of mind frame of, I don't want to get hurt or get played, so let me just back off.
So with that, I don't want to get hurt or get played, right? So a lot of people back off because of that. And you see that people tend to be like, man, I ain't gonna push too much because I don't want this person to play me, or I ain't gonna do this because I don't know how this is gonna fall out. So
I don't want to call be thirsty. I don't want to be thirsty.
so how you feel about that?
I feel that if you're gonna be out here dating, you have to be vulnerable. Period. You can't say, "Oh, I'm not gonna do it because I don't want to get hurt." We all get hurt. That's just a thing that happens, and you have to roll with it how it comes.
Yeah? You feel the same way?
Well, I think Sidney, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Sidney, you talking about like approaching people. You know, like whether you choose to approach somebody or you choose not to approach somebody.
Well, it's approaching somebody as well as showing your interest with the other person. So even if you approach somebody, then you got the number, and the talking process has become so confusing that, matter of fact, here's a scenario. I remember time I got somebody's number, right? And I was about to call them. They're like, don't call at this time. Like one of my the girls I'm cool with, don't call at this time. That's booty call hours. I said, so then I said, well, I'm calling morning. That's a bad time too. 6 months later, I'm like, damn, I forgot to call this chick. You know, I really forgot. So it's kind of weird stuff like that.
Booty call.
Trying to figure out like
When to go.
when to do, how to do it, how to do it, how to approach a person, how not to approach.
So wait, so it's like a when to call now?
Yeah,
Like,
it's a wonderful call because somehow you're thirsty. And you don't have that going on with yourself, that you had the nerve to call somebody that you was interested in right then and there, or a little bit later.
See, but I think that's a misconception because I don't feel like everybody take it that way. Me personally, I have a toddler, so if you call me after 8, 9 o'clock, I'm most likely probably not gonna answer the phone. But I may return the call, you know, or I may send a text or whatever. But I think that that's based on the person that you're talking about. Everybody doesn't. If you call after a certain amount of hours, I don't think that an automatic thing. That's a booty call.
but what I'm saying is, okay, correct me if I'm wrong. If you give a person your number, or give the person any kind of way to contact you, right? Don't you expect them to contact you at any time?
There's
I'm just
interest.
saying.
Exactly, there's interest.
No,
There's a thing because granted, I have not dated in a long time. I've been with my guy a long time, but there's still an appropriate time to contact people. Like my sister calling me at 7 in the morning. Now I know it's not somebody I'm interested in, but she calling me at 7. I'm trying to get ready for work, and she's talking about something she saw on social media. So that's not, you know what I mean?
At some point, you
There's
have to call
Right.
to find out what are the hours not to call.
Right.
If you never call, then how are you going to
Now,
know?
see, that makes sense though.
I feel
I like
like
that way.
if somebody is constantly calling you at 12, 1, 2, that's
That's a different.
That's booty call. That's booty call.
Wait, you said 12?
I
Right, but you have to call at some point to know what the person's availability is. If you
Right.
don't call, then okay, then you just
You'll
gonna
never
sit there
know.
6 months later.
True.
So let me ask you this here for our women. When does it feel like that man being too thirsty?
What does that mean, though? You
All
know,
right.
because it depends on what you look.
All right, so listen.
Hold on. You say, what does that mean? When the wait, you just snorted?
Yeah.
Oh my God! She just snorted. Oh my God! She snorted on my dog.
Sir, you can take that out.
Hey, seeing everything all vague, that was thirsty.
She told him behind the camera too. We already established that beforehand. You missed that conversation.
Okay, so what we mean by that? Okay, when does it sound like when you'll be like, man, he's starting to get on my nerves. He calling too much. I don't want to be bothered with him right now. When you just feel like, damn, what do you think this is?
My personal opinion, that speaks. In order to address that, you have to address that. That speaks to the person's maturity level on how you address that, right? Because you can say that and not hurt a person's feeling. You know, like it can be like, I actually like you, but you're doing too much, right? And you don't have to say it that way. You can say, hey, this is my, like, I'm busy right now, but can I call you later? Or whatever the case may be. You know, like you can set the scene and not be rude.
But if you tell somebody, like I had this happen to me before, okay, I work between this time and this time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call, and it's okay to call, but you cannot just keep constantly calling me, texting me, and then you're mad because I'm not responding. I'm at work. I told you I was at work.
Well, that also sounds like a point about compatibility too. Like y'all just might not be the kind of people that need to be together. You know what I mean? Maybe this person wants to communicate very frequently, and you're like, no, this isn't really my thing right now. That's kind of what it sounds like to me.
Alright, so to me, I got immaturity, which makes sense in a lot of stuff, as well as compatibility. And when I think about all these things, I believe that yes, the dude is hella interested. And to me, from what social media showed us, this guy's way too interested in me. He must not have a life. I'm like, oh my goodness. He's like
If I talk to you, of course I'm interested.
Right.
If I call you
If I said anything to you, I'm interested.
right.
True.
But hold up. Okay, y'all. Women, y'all always saying y'all want the attention, right?
Categorizing.
The stereotype.
You said y'all always.
Wait a minute.
Y'all always.
Yeah, y'all. We going with always. no, but it's one of them things where is it like sometimes y'all don't know what you want?
Absolutely.
Because sometimes it's like, yeah, I want the guy I want him to be aggressive. I want him to be, I want him to call me. I want him to show interest, right? But then when he's showing too much interest, being aggressive, it's like, he seemed like, I don't want all that. So ain't that's kind of like
Contradict.
Thank you.
And it's vague as hell, because just like you said, Thursday is vague, that's being vague.
I'm just saying. So any one of y'all could jump in on that.
So wait, what's the question? The question is, are we just contradictory as a gender?
No.
Exactly.
You can't.
How much you like a person. If you like a person, you're gonna accept any code.
Yeah.
You're gonna accept any time, any code, whatever. But if you don't like him, you're like, oh.
So why you give him your number?
Right.
Because that's what people do.
Because that's the immature.
No, if I don't like you,
We haven't heard from Jovan in a while, bro. Go ahead, hold on.
if I don't like you, I'm not giving you my number.
Exactly. See, and that's it. But wait. That's the thing about men. If we don't like somebody or we don't feel, it's gonna be like, man, I ain't giving you. What I'ma do? Go ahead.
How do you know if you like somebody if you don't talk to them?
I know. I mean, well, I knew. It was 20 years ago, but I knew. When I saw him, I said, oh yeah, he's the one.
Sometimes you can just look at a person and be like, yeah, but then when you talk to that person, you're like, no, I don't like his personality. I don't like this.
See, okay, I'm
That's
When I'm gonna stop answering the call.
I'm gonna say
just
something.
tell them, don't just ghost people. That stuff I don't like. When people ghost, that's like really immature to me. Like, be an adult. Just to have a difficult conversation. I'm not feeling you. Unfortunately, we are not compatible. Therefore, we must discontinue.
No, but listen.
Wait. Time out. Shawny just said that sounds so good. Why you saying that sounds so good?
Because that's not what people do. That's why they got the term ghost.
Me personally, I can only speak on my experiences, right? I had an experience in my life where I went on 51st dates, and
Don't look at her
I said what I said.
All right, go ahead.
You know, and yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I'm serious, you know, and some people are gonna see it and they was like, yep, I did go on one date with her and that was it. Because I know what I want and I know what I don't want and I know compatibility. I know, chemistry, and we may have some type of chemistry, but you may say something like, it's like, that's not gonna work out for me. And my thing is, I'm gonna respectfully decline a second date because I know this is not gonna work out.
From the first date?
From the first date, hunty. I was left
I mean, some people from that first day you could tell. Like,
First
and
of all,
everybody don't take it well.
First date?
how old were you when this 51st date happened?
It was not too long ago. You know what I'm saying? So I was mature. But the thing
How
about
you
it,
be mature at 29?
I'm forever 29.
She's not 20. I told you.
Do the math. I'm forever 29. But the thing about it is that some people don't take it well. Some people don't be like, well, how you know we not gonna work? I was left at a restaurant before and I politely called my Uber and he was still standing outside when I got in the car with my Uber. Because I understand you're not receptive to what I'm saying, but I know what I want and I know what I'm gonna need, and it's not this.
You know
Now,
what's-
can I check? Oh.
I want you to go first, please.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. See, he's trying to put that key sweat boy or something. But no, Daniela, I wanted to ask you about this because I appreciate the fact that you went on 51st dates. I really, really do. People, I don't think date enough. But I'm wondering though, because I've been with my dude almost 20 years, and there's still so much I'm learning about him. There's still so much of values that we're learning we didn't have the same. And if only, right on that first date, I was like, oh, he mine. But after that, we really struggled for a while to get to know each other. I'm just curious, kind of like what the guys are saying. How did you know?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, was everything so different that you couldn't have worked it out? I don't know. How do you know?
A lot. Well, during that era, I was dating online, so it was a lot of online dates, right? So a lot of the things is like you're presenting one thing online, and then when you're showing up as a different person, right? And so I didn't sign up for that, right? So like how you gonna know if you don't date?
Yeah.
So I'm going out on these dates. I had one guy, he's not from this country. I told him, I said, hey, I'm trying to get a little bit healthy. He was like, we gotta wake up at 4 o'clock every morning. I'm like, yeah, no. It was so nice meeting you, like this is gonna be great. He was like, well, if you have a goal, then this is what you have to do to achieve it.
How dare you try to support you in your
Sitting right there.
It wasn't what he
Smack you.
It wasn't what he said. It was what he was insinuating. He was insinuating if this is your goal, this is the only way to get there. I don't live my life that way. I'm not from the United States, so I have extremely diverse background. I have extremely diverse people around me. There's multiple ways to get to Canal Street. Just because you went that way, it doesn't mean I'm gonna go that way. And if you feel like I have to go the way that you're going, you're not the person for me.
But perhaps you had that one idea, that one thing, and then it didn't work.
Well,
You did it for a week, it didn't work. How about you try something else? He gave you another idea. You didn't know because you cut him off at the first date.
Right.
You're right.
You're right.
Like,
You're right.
this is hard.
Absolutely.
Let me chime in on that.
Yeah.
You said you was online dating. Well, I let somebody go after the first date as well. In person, like we met and we went on a date. His lifestyle, the things that he was telling me that he was doing, I already knew. I don't want to be a part of that.
Was he telling you that online?
No, he was in the restaurant.
On the restaurant?
Yeah.
What type of lifestyle it was?
Conversation.
Now, see, you being
You get into details. Like,
Well, I would
want
say
a man to see this and be like,
well,
we
look.
don't even
I'm
know
just
what
saying, it could be something that could have been fixed.
okay, well, since we've been honest.
There you go.
Open.
Just being real.
Okay, so the man, he smoked weed. I don't like
I like this one.
that. That's what he said. I'm trying to figure out why I choose not to use somebody who smokes weed.
Right.
I don't like cigarettes neither. I don't like smoke.
I get that.
So I
Okay.
don't wanna be bothered with
That was
nobody
your
talking about what happened.
Okay.
It's her preference, right? It's her preference.
I respect that.
I respect that, but I got two things. I got two things I just want to get a point on both of y'all. What y'all just
Sure.
said. Anybody can chime in on this. Two
All right,
things.
got it.
Except Sidney.
Two things. One is okay. You just said he told you what to do, right? He said get up at 4 o'clock. This is what he want to do. Ain't that a form of a man leading, right? Hold up. Ain't
Pause.
wait, no, we ain't pausing just yet. No, we ain't pausing. Ain't that a form of a man leading, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Come on, D.
Okay. So we say we want a man to lead us, right?
Who said
What?
that?
Yes, we do.
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Ladies, I'm telling you, you go one more time, I'm gonna lead you out the door.
Look, I'm gonna let me drink my water.
I'm
You
telling you,
got alcohol.
I'm gonna lead her clean up out the door. But you say you want a man to lead you, right? So he showed that trait of leading,
Sure.
right? And you cut him off after the first one.
Absolutely.
Now, I understand y'all single, so you're not you're gonna be like, you ain't gonna come in tonight. But he showed the trait that he's willing to take the lead.
Sure.
I jump right in and say, look, if you want to do this is what you gotta do. Bam. Okay. Renata, you just said he gave you, well, yeah, I do a little smoking, right? Well, we know it in today's world, we're not gonna be compatible with everything a person does. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I'm not saying you have to settle for less. But sometimes you gotta look at it. I'm looking at it as, why is it we tend to look at that one thing and say, nah, and don't try to figure out, well, let me see.
Y'all gotta be compatible with everything else, just that one thing.
Right. Well, let me see if he can. Let me see if he has other traits that's quality that could bring to the table.
I'll help you.
No, we want Renata to speak.
It was other things.
Oh,
That was
so-
just the main thing.
Right.
Oh, so
right.
see, you should have led with that. We wouldn't even got to this point.
Wait, now he's telling you how you should have talked.
You should've-
Right. Boy, telling you how you need to get help. Now, see what I told y'all about these men trying to talk. I'm just saying.
Who showed this?
That's what, look,
But wait, I want to
I'm
speak
the
to.
lead on this show, so what I'm gonna do is lead.
But I want to speak to you saying a man showing qualities of leading, right? It doesn't have to be with all aspects of my life, right? And I have to be receptive with your style of leading.
Okay.
Because your style of leading may not be conducive to my style of receiving. And if you tell me what to do, I might not be receptive to that. If you tell me that's my only option, I may not be receptive to that. But if we have a conversation, you say, well, I think you should try this, that's a different way. Everybody is not receptive to listening and hearing things from everybody.
All right, so I just want to throw something out there because I had told you earlier. The scenario was I was talking to a girl who was talking about all this leading stuff, right? And I was like, I'm taking notes. I'm like, okay, lead, because I was vague. I said, well, let's say
You
if
taking
they come to your
notes?
life. Yeah, I was taking notes. Because you got to take notes when women talk, and this is why we have these
I
horrible
like that.
problems.
Take notes. Take
So
notes.
I asked her, and all the leading stuff she was saying that was vague, I said, wait a minute. So what do you want a man to lead in your life? You know what she told me? I don't know. I said, you know what? Call me back in a month. And once you find out, then call me back, we have more conversation. She ain't call me back in because she can't answer that question. And the problem is women get to say anything they want and it becomes the law. And it's vague. Just like her. She just told us if a
Who is
woman's
her?
my bad.
See, and look how y'all take this. So let me ask you something. I'm gonna let you finish. So let me ask you something. Why is it y'all can't listen
I'm listening. I'm
before
just
y'all
listening.
open your mouths?
Everybody can make a joke but a woman.
Wow.
See what I'm
Where did
saying?
that come from?
Well, see, look, she didn't even finish listening to me by the time she said
Oh,
let me
But
out.
you know what? I think men just process stuff slower than women. I swear to God. No, I'm for real because my dude said the same thing. I said I understood what you were saying a long time ago. But you know when you ask a man a question like what you want for dinner and he doesn't know 3 hours after you ask him, I just feel like y'all kind of process things a bit slower than women do. I feel like, I don't know, maybe we're just made differently and we just process it faster. I don't think it's that we don't listen.
I must say that you have some great points on not processing stuff because I've been in situations where I'm not really processing what somebody's saying, especially if I'm, doing some hardcore playing the game or something. Who knows? but it's hard to focus on what she's saying. I'm like, man. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? Let me press pause on this online game and mess over the whole situation to find out what she's talking about. So when you do listen to what a woman say, there's statements that I have to, questions I have to say to make sure I understand.
Right.
Or at least I want you to ask me because I'm not really paying attention. You know, at least for the first time.
So, but y'all hate when we be like, "Are you listening? Are you listening?" They hate that because y'all don't listen when we talk.
Well, I believe a guy who hate that maybe ain't shit already and just don't feel like hearing it again.
Okay, so wait a minute. Am I the only one who's had that experience? Like, have y'all said that to y'all men? Like, are you listening to me?
Right.
And they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
I heard you.
yeah.
I was in a situation where I was
He's always in a situation.
I was somehow.
With the thunder in the background.
And sometimes some people be saying stuff and it be so hard on you to listen to where you just try to ignore them. And I was saying to myself, wow. Because she was saying, I don't even know what she was saying, I wasn't listening. So I was driving like, man, this girl is really blowing me.
Sidney. You know you can prove your point, right?
Sometimes. True. And it was a long-winded story. It was horrible. But that's what the problem is. It's a long-winded story. You gotta break these things down. Tell me the most important point. Make a bullet point or something. Help me out.
Now, I can't agree with that.
Men are simple.
Yeah.
I can't agree.
Yeah. Start off.
I can't agree with that.
Yeah,
What you
start
think?
off.
No. Oh wait.
Yeah, I can't agree.
I got a short attention span. You got to get straight to the point.
Right. At least and the first point should be you're not in trouble. Whew. Okay, go ahead. Okay, cool.
Hold up. But Sidney said it, and I'm pretty sure Jovan feel the same way. Because if you come to me and say, I gotta talk, and I'm thinking, like, damn,
It's automatic stuff bad.
Some bad. Oh my goodness. And we automatically start to think like, I gotta get defensive, I gotta do this, I gotta.
What did I do?
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's the first word that's coming out of my mind.
Wait a minute.
You know what I'm saying? Oh
Oh no.
yeah.
I mean, we did do that thing last week. It was crazy. She talked the whole time. And all I heard is, did you listen? Huh? Yeah. I heard you talk about that shit.
I had a question for you guys because y'all brought up a point and it seemed like a lot of people were familiar with it and I wasn't. Like, you were saying about women wanting a man to lead them,
Yes.
and I wonder where that thought process comes from because I simply wasn't raised that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, is it a religious thing? Is it a cultural thing? Where is it? And I don't mean like genetically we have some kind of gender roles that happen genetically.
Right.
Where is that coming
Well,
from?
okay. If you want to get to that point, leading is spiritual thing. It's a spiritual thing, and it's also brought up in the culture of most black homes.
Mm-hmm.
Why you said it with the question mark?
It wasn't a question, It wasn't a question, Bob.
Everybody kind of pause like,
I'm just saying, a lot of black women, they want their man to lead.
At least
That's how it's always been.
It's the
I know.
tradition. They want a religion. It's the tradition. It's passed on from grandma to mama because the man is supposed to be. However, black women we were put in a different category at this time.
But at the same time, some of us didn't have a man in our life, so we don't know how to.
Wait. I hate that statement so much.
I agree. This is why dating is high.
So wait, I have a question based on what everybody said. What happens when a man that did not have a parental figure to show him how to lead tries to lead a woman?
That's not true.
Period. What happens then, right? Because at that point, how do I trust you? How do I know that I can trust you? Because if you don't know in what direction you're moving into, how do I know that you're going to push me in the right direction?
I'm struggling with this.
So
I like a man leading me. I want to be partners. I don't want to feel like I'm being led. Like there's some things we naturally do, but I don't need him to lead me. I look for protection, sure, and I think he looks to me for nurturing, but I don't need a man to lead me. That's hard for me to digest right now.
I understand what you're saying, but I know why you really having a hard time processing it because it's hella vague. And when you think about it, if I didn't have my father in my life, which I didn't, I still thought of a man as making sure he put a smile on his woman's face, try to put money into the house. If she's struggling in the area, take time out
Yeah.
take time out to look out for her.
Yeah.
Like that's what I thought what a man was, and as a of the household. So it's not that a person don't have that, because how can women or men say that you don't have a man in the house that's not leading, but somehow, some magical way, these women are still masculine. They're doing all the things that they feel like a man should do. That means their mama taught them that. So why the hell is mothers not teaching their sons these things that they're teaching their daughters?
Because a woman can't teach a man how to be a man.
But if she's teaching a woman how to be a man, how come she can't teach her son?
Well, why is she teaching a woman how to be a man? See, this is where I think it gets tricky for me.
Let's go.
Why? I'm just asking, right? Because again, I see things as a little more fluid, right? I feel like again, I'm naturally the nurturer in my home, and he's naturally more the protector.
Right.
But does that mean he's the leader per se? I just think in some areas we lead each other, we work together. I just don't ever want to feel like one of us is the lead. That's something that just I can't process that.
I like
This is
that.
how you were taught. This is what was taught to you.
No,
This is
this
a tradition. How?
no,
I'm
everybody's
just trying to understand, like, where does your concept come in? Like, what happened? Like, how's that?
I mean, no, I think oftentimes that comes with people's religions, right? And I think a lot of people assume if you're African American, you're Christian, right? Not all of us are. Not all of us are. But I know in a lot of Christian faith that is something that people say. And again, I respect that if that's what people do. It's simply not my frame of reference.
So I got a question. My man got a question. My man Cartel. So
And his hand was up high.
Look, I'm trying to be respectful. Like everybody give me a thing. So let's see.
So I got a few points just right quick. So to talk about what y'all were talking about at the beginning, as far as people first beating each other, cutting people off after the first date, this thing that that you don't like. Like for one, I don't know. Like relationships are based off of humility, and it's based off you being what you want. So oftentimes we look at ourselves and we say, I don't have this, I don't have that, or this person not bring me this, or this person not bring me that. But whatever you are, you truly attract. If you're a person who on time, if you're a person that handles their business correctly, if you're a kind person, a sharing person, you're going to be around that. Because when you're around something opposite of that, you're going to get lost. You're going to get from around it because it don't feel natural to you. For what you were saying,
Can I make a comment before?
I want to
Wait. Let my man go.
He had his hand up patiently.
So for what you were saying, big brother, men oftentimes have we have like a warrior mentality to where we feel like when we want something, we're gonna hunt for it. But it has to be a part of reality of understanding that a man and a woman chemistry, intimately wise, has to be on rhythm. And you know deep down in your core if I'm on rhythm and I'm on the same page with this opposite person. And if you're not, you gotta be real to yourself and say, sweetie, you don't feel me the way I feel you, and that's cool. I don't wanna continue to press the fact because you know when you're pressing the fact.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? And you know when that person has you is in the catbird seat to they controlling you. They only picking you up, get a little bill here and there. You know that,
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So,
That's a mixture, and I explain on that too. But yeah.
and then for what you were saying,
Look at
He was taking notes.
yeah. So for the leader situation, I don't like the biblical side of it because that's going to be relatable to whatever demographic you're in.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as just a relationship goes, a male is looked at by law, by gender, by just DNA to be protectors.
Yeah.
If someone breaking our home, it is not your responsibility to handle it. If our financial ceiling, whatever we're going to become together, whatever we're going to grow together, it's my responsibility to ultimately get us over that hill. It's not a woman's responsibility to get us over that hill. So when they say a man is a leader, in my perspective, leading isn't dictatorship. Leading is just a foundation. And then all I'm doing is just going outside, digging a hole, putting the seed there, and you're going to water it, you're going to grow it, you're going to make it blossom. I'm not leading, I'm not in control of your life. It's just me accepting the role as the leader is that whenever you can't figure it out, I will. You know what I mean? So that's more of a leader. A leader isn't over their crew, they're with their crew. You know what I mean? Like when I work, I don't believe in superintendent, foreman. Man, we all here pulling our part. And that's the same way in the household. You know what I mean? Like,
Man, ain't it's good when
I appreciate it.
ain't it's good when you got a cameraman who could drop knowledge. Man,
He need to bring up here.
I'm surrounded by just knowledge, man. Look.
I want to speak to what you said, two things, because I want to speak to the last thing that you said, and then I want to bounce back. You said that leadership is not dictatorship. Maybe I was not clear in what I said in that experience that I had on that day, right? Because that's what I saw, and I experienced that, and I knew that was not for me, right? Because I knew it was no negotiation on how I was supposed to show up. He determined how I was supposed to show up, and I was either going to show up like that or I wasn't. Right? And so I saw that. I knew that. I know this about myself. I know this type of relationship will not work for me. Right? Second thing that you said about like cutting people off after the first date. I think you spoke on dating. I think dating and a relationship status is two different things. I think that we date differently. I think that different cultures date differently. You know, dating, going on, some people believe that you can date multiple people, right? But you're not committed to anybody. Some people believe I'm only going to date one person at a time, right? And if that doesn't work out, I'm going to move on. Let's say that it does work out. Perhaps at that point, the two people determine, are we exclusively dating? Are we in a relationship? That's a different status, right? But just dating people, you know, I think that you show up how you are, and then you determine if there's compatibility or not.
Okay.
You know, I wasn't speaking to a relationship. I was speaking to just sitting in front of somebody that you don't know for the first time.
I believe this is what's phony about this dating that we would like to go around. Phony. The reason why we have a lot of problems because women really control the narrative of all this. So this is how you say you went out on a date with 50 men, right?
I didn't say that. I didn't. I said 50 first.
Oh,
like that's two different statements.
So this is one of the problems to me. We're confusing courting with dating, and because women can just take all the good stuff from stuff, it becomes a problem. Men are dogs and looked at like that just because they talk to 50 or whatever women, and y'all doing the same thing now. One thing y'all women have showed me is when they have the opportunity to do the same thing, they're doing it. So why are we dogs for talking to this girl, this girl, and we just say we're dating, but when y'all do it, it's like, it's cool.
I think we're talking about two different things. I'm not exactly. I was speaking to going on an individual date with an individual, feeling like there's no chemistry and not wanting to continue the communication. I'm not speaking to multiple people at the same time. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're referencing when a person speaks to different people, going on different dates multiple times with different people, you're texting multiple people at different times. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm speaking to actually going out to a restaurant, sitting in front of somebody and be like, I don't think this is going to work out for me.
All right, if you
and then moving on and ending that communication with that person.
But if you did that with 50 different guys, you know, y'all don't want guys doing that to y'all.
The problem is men pretend like you're the only one. It's 300 women and every woman, yeah, girl, it's just you. Yeah, it's just you. Yeah, it's just you.
You don't think she did the same thing? But
no.
We're always fascinated with
But you're making that assumption. Wait. Sidney, you're making that. Wait, you're making that assumption about me after I've clarified it twice.
So tell me, so to make sure we're on the same page, you told me all 50 of these guys that you're talking to all 50 of them, trying to find out if y'all are compatible.
No.
You heard what you wanted to hear. You didn't hear what I said.
No. She said Sidney's first date. What I got was a TV show.
Right.
Sort of like a TV show or something where you just like, okay,
it's like speed date.
Speed date, right? That's what I got. But hold
this
up,
was over the span of 5 years.
It could have been in 1 month. That's your business, sis. Don't let them tell you. Let me tell you something, Sidney.
This is the breakdown, period. She went on dates,
right?
But she was not still constantly communicating with these people
And
all at the
pretending
same
like there was
time.
something.
Yeah, once she didn't like him, she got rid of him, pretty much.
She didn't like him. Good date. Then okay, somebody else come over here. We going on a date. She don't like him.
Okay,
You get in trouble over that, Sidney.
I don't mind getting in trouble as long as I get better answers. So I do understand what she's saying.
I like it.
She went with this person, it wasn't fire, went with the next person, that makes sense. So when you say 51st date, when you don't put enough information, it is vague.
I get it.
And vague makes people make statements and questions.
And
I
make
got what
assumptions.
she
No,
did.
You must want to see that movie.
Shit, that shit didn't work. That shit didn't work. I'm moving this nigga along.
That's why you didn't get it. That's why he's confused. He doesn't know what 51st dates is.
But look,
No, once she feel like she not compatible with him, she cut it off.
Oh, that's that movie?
but we,
Fascinating.
but
I don't know the movie. I don't know the movie or not, but I know what she meant by it.
But look, we're getting. I feel like we're getting stuck on the fact that I say that I went on 51st dates when today in 2023 most people do not go on dates.
They don't.
Most people do not meet up and talk. Most people do not go on relationships. Everybody's relying on social media. Everybody wants to Netflix and chill. Everybody want to meet up at the bar. You know, so I think that I don't mean to get defensive, but I'm saying is I have a requirement that I want to sit and talk to you.
Yep.
Right.
And if it does not work out, then that's fine. We can move on. Right? But what I'm not gonna do is settle for something else that I'm not comfortable with.
Right.
We have to go out and we have to sit down and I have to see if we can talk.
Right.
If we can't talk, I don't want to continue this.
All right, now this is what I want to say too. Then, can we talk on social media? Right? We're talking on social media, right?
Huh?
I mean, the conversation got to start somewhere.
Yeah. So we're talking on social media.
In order for us to go somewhere.
If we're talking on social media, should we have some type of foundation of what we want already in this conversation before we go on a date? How long it takes for us to have this date?
A week or two.
A week or two. So in a week or two, we just saying how you know. We're not asking some type of questions. Like most of the stuff we can find out while we're in this social media platform. You know what I'm saying? So before
I disagree because everybody presents as you present, you put out there what you want to put out there.
I kind of disagree with that because here's the
okay,
thing.
brother.
And you know what that means? You know what that means? When I said it didn't matter, but he was listening to you. That's exactly what he. That's
All right. Well, this is where I kind of disagree.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you text message somebody, if you DM somebody, or whatever the case may be, they don't get those emotions or that raw feeling that you would get if you're telling them.
Yeah, you in person with them.
In person with them. Okay. Sidney, bottom line, with me and you, throughout the process of getting set up for the show, I text you and say, we're gonna be at the coffee house on the 15th at this time, boom, 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 boom. I text everybody else that the same thing. Everybody's replied, I got you, D. Or Jovan was like, he hit the like button. Everybody says something. You the only one that say nothing. You know what I'm saying? You the only one that never came back and said a word. It wasn't until last week. I said, Sidney, you still doing it? Yeah, bro. And I was like, Sidney, everybody in the circle, when I was texting, they were saying, we good. They kept, I'm saying that to say, sometimes in a text, or sometimes in a DM, stuff could get it could get lost. It could be misleading. So it's always good to personally talk with somebody because you can look at it. If I'm sitting there,
I can take a text a certain way, but if you say it to my face, it's totally different.
It's totally different because I'm looking at your reaction as you saying it.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
But I kind of feel what Sidney's saying though. Like if you're really out there trying to date people and y'all are asking each other questions online, I feel like you're getting some kind of idea of who they are. Even the amount of time it takes for them to respond. If they miss a message from you, did they apologize? Right? You know what I mean? You're still getting some kind of a bit of their nuances. You're getting something about them. You're learning something. Right?
Because like you said, even though me and him talked multiple times before the 15th situation happened, I was making sure he knew that, hey son, I'm about that life. If I don't got to live in Florida, I'm coming out here. I got you, son.
Now wait, all I said was he never replied to
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I said he never replied to that one. So hold on. Let me ask you, we all sitting there, right?
Right.
Each one of y'all, I text DM each one of y'all, right? and told y'all we was going to Basin first, right? The coffee house.
Yes.
And all y'all did what?
You
Did-
text?
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen, don't do that. I text you, and then me and you talk. You had called me and said, D, I'm sorry, I was supposed to call you back over the
Lacey
weekend.
got a Tyler, she don't remember.
I got
Yeah,
you. You
and
know.
then you talk. Yeah, she already
Yeah,
talk. Then you talk.
I'm just curious. I said, dang, they don't got messages. I ain't getting a message.
I feel the same way.
You look, see me. That's just how.
I got receipts, Lacey.
Now, I will say this. I will say the ultimate thing is in this scenario, my dog did this. Before he said, you know what, I'm about to go another route, let me hit him back up one more time. Because when he hit me back up, I was so confused. I'm like, son, we already talked. I thought we was Gucci. So once we had, at least gave me some type of time to talk about it, we got it understood. Versus some people I know who would be like, I don't like the way this is going. Next person. See what I'm saying? And that's one
Still
of the
making
things.
assumptions.
That's one thing that we are saying too. So, there you
But
go.
actually, it seems like it really does seem like you genuinely seek to understand more from people.
Right.
That's one thing I could really appreciate you after today. Like you're like, so I understand. Now you might have talked about my girl afterwards, but you did really seek for understanding, and that's
But-
an admirable.
But
trait.
look at who's understanding. We're talking about a teacher, right? A teacher is the person that is going to see those qualities. And everybody is not a teacher when especially you don't have the hat on when you're dating. You know, so I may not be looking to understand what you're trying to say and then text you 3 weeks to follow up on something that you said 3 weeks ago.
Okay,
Should have said it
so
while we was already sick.
so let me ask this here.
Come on,
Let me ask
let me
this
see
here.
who's gonna show up, please.
Let me ask this here. Cause this has been something I always wanted to know about personally. All right. For the most part, I'm not saying y'all, but I'm saying for the most part, in most households we grow up. Women grow up in households where the daddy probably there, or he's probably not, right?
Okay.
And you have a figure that you see, or you don't have a male figure that you see. But when we get older, and men kind of do it the same, but when we get older and we start dating or we start meeting people, we got this picture in our mind of who this person's supposed to be. And we never met this person a day in our life.
That's true.
And we got a picture of who he's supposed to be. We got this look of who this man's supposed to be, whether it's from social media, whether it's from TV, whether it's from fantasy land, because we know most women live in fantasy land. But
I'm not gonna say it.
I'm shocked you not saying
I'm not gonna say it.
that. Shocked.
I can't believe you said that.
He's like, you're gonna have to answer to this later, because wifey is nearby hearing you say this. Look, show him to it.
Can we bring another chair up to the stage, please?
Look. This I'm about to put all y'all out. But you know, we see this person, this image that we supposed to get, and then what we are taught. I need the perfect man. I want the perfect man.
Nobody's perfect.
Exactly. Nobody's perfect. Because guess
You learn
what?
that through dating. You learn that through
Because guess what?
getting to know
Because
the insurance.
if he was the perfect man, and if you believe in the Bible, you saying God lying, because God said the only perfect man is Jesus Christ, right? So if you believe in the Bible and you say you want the perfect man, that must mean God lying or you lying. Who lying? Who lying in that situation? So I just want to know, how do we get these images of the perfect man? Where do we get them from?
You know what? That's a really interesting question, because I came to know that in therapy. Like, I did not know that all these years, right, that the guy I thought was supposed to be the perfect man was somebody I had created completely by myself. And I didn't realize that. And so I was holding my man up to standards that I had created. The therapist was like, but why does he have to do those things? I said, well, hell, because I want him to. I said, because I created it. And it wasn't allowing him to be the fullness of who he was. And to our wonderful cameraman's point, right, I also really had to accept what the gender of being a man was, right? It's not like my father said, well, hey, Laci, I wasn't raised to talk about my feelings on the farm. It was through counseling I had to learn that, right? You guys taught to be a provider, a protector, and he did his job after he did that, right? And so it was some of those things other things you want from him are gonna be harder. And that's where the work came in once we got there, right? Because he was real cute when I met him on the beach. I said, "Oh, you mine, boo." He was cute, but the work started after that.
I can add on something to that.
Well, the work begins after that. That makes so much sense. But you know what? These people. Well, I'm not.
I like it when you say
Not these people, but people today not willing to do the work.
Oh, yes.
That's the problem in today's society, in my opinion. They're
Yes.
just not willing to do the work because it's hard.
It is hard.
It's not easy. It's not fluff. It's not, oh, he's mine. Oh,
But
Right, right.
I'm newly divorced and I did the work and it just wasn't working for me.
right.
So that was alright.
Yeah.
But people just not willing to do the work.
It's
So
work.
so why do we run from the work?
But can I speak
It's
to
hard.
It is hard.
Can I speak to what you were saying initially about, the imagery, right? Where do we get that from? And Laci, you spoke to unspoken expectations, and it's like sometimes through the journey, right? Through growing up, through actually dating, through being in different relationships, you realize, there's a hand in the audience, you realize that we have these unspoken expectations, and the more that we realize we have these, the more that you can actually see the person that's actually in front of you,
Yep.
right? But that's part of that work. That's part of that relationship. That's part of, he may not be what I want him to be, but he is who he is, and I actually love that about him.
Yep.
So it's crazy how the universe works because it's bringing this conversation back full circle. Because Daniela and I just had a conversation. I mentioned to her that I don't recall a male loving me unconditionally, not even my dad. Not to say that my dad didn't love me, but he loved me in a different aspect, more in a protection, like to protect me. But as far as the affection, I never got that from my dad. So I wasn't a daddy's girl. So as far as me dating, because I didn't get that affection from my dad, that is what I look forward to in dating. I'm looking for what I missed out on that my daddy didn't provide to me.
Yeah.
Wow.
But a male can show you affection, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they have your best interests at heart. So then that's what brings the different situations.
Right.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
You said that's what you were missing, the affection from your dad.
Yeah.
How was your mom? Was she affectionate?
My mom was affectionate. I was more closer to my mom, but my daddy had the more stronger lead role, so my mom tended to follow my daddy's lead.
So how did you know that you were missing the affection from your dad, that it affected your relationship from men when you did get affection? It might not have been from your dad, but it's from your mom. Because my situation, my dad was more affectionate than my mom. However, it's like, sometimes I think we generalize so much, it's like you have to go person by person or household by household.
Right.
Because you still got affection, whether it's from your mom or your daddy. So how do you say, oh, I didn't get the affection from I didn't know the affection of a man because I didn't get it from my daddy, but you got it.
Right. I don't think that's the same.
But growing up and getting affection from a male is
Right.
much different from getting affection from a mom.
Right.
Can I add on to that right
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And I just want to add this, and I don't mean to cut you off, Sidney, but it goes to speak on. How you laugh?
You know that I don't mean to.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I will.
Go ahead.
I am cutting you off, but I don't mean to cut you off.
I know, but you will.
But I will. But it speaks to the journey that you have to take in adulthood, right? And sometimes you have.
He's just giving him a no. You can keep talking. He's just giving him a no.
That should stop at that point. We was like, what he doing? He eating? Like what?
Hold on, we got 3, 2, 1.
Go.
I forgot.
You was talking about how I was right and you was wrong.
No, but you know what?
We know that. She know that. She know that was me.
No. I want to speak to like the journey that you have to take in adulthood, right? Like what are the holes that I have inside of me? And what are some of the expectations that I'm putting on my partner that it's not for my partner to fulfill, right? It is a journey of healing that I have to do within myself. So yes, you can have affection and it's like you can have 3 different kids to live in the same house but need 3 different things. Some people need emotional support. Some people need hoorah. Everybody doesn't need the same thing, but it's up to you to determine what do I need and to make sure that I don't put those unspoken expectations on my partner. Because at that point, I'm not seeing you for who you
Oh,
are.
Renata won't change.
Renata got something to say.
I want to, ma'am.
Yeah.
Did you find that missing link that you didn't get the affection from your father through therapy, or you just did some
Just experiences through relationships and self-reflecting.
okay, because I think a lot of times a lot of people have things like that they missing, they don't know. They don't know, they don't understand.
Yeah.
And that's where therapy can bridge that gap and
Yeah.
make you better. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Because
Yep.
it's just so many things that we could be missing in our childhood, and
Yeah.
you don't know that until you get in these relationships.
We all might need therapy. Sure.
No, we definitely don't need
Like Daniela said, as an adult, you have to make decisions because you're no longer a child. You're an adult most of your life, and you get to live long enough, longer than you're a child. So it's decisions you have to make in adulthood to understand things.
Absolutely.
Right, but I think if you don't examine your childhood, those things are gonna keep showing up throughout
Yeah,
your
you
life.
can listen, and you can go
nobody
to therapy.
wants to do
However,
that,
in your adult life, you have to make decisions.
Yeah, that's true. But I think what you were asking is why didn't the affection from her mother why wasn't that sufficient? Because she got it. I think as much as there are gender things that I think naturally happen. I think now, right, for little girls, they need to receive certain things from their father because they're going to look for what they get or don't get from a man if they choose to date men. And the other way for boys, right? They need however their interactions are with their mom are going to be reflected in their interactions with women as they grow up. So all of us who have kids, you know what I mean? If we do them a disservice if we don't examine our own childhoods and address our trauma now, so that we don't pass it on to them.
Everybody don't have trauma.
Right.
Everybody don't have trauma.
Ooh, I think we all do.
I think we all.
I think if
We
you
all may have some form of trauma, but everybody does not have trauma. That's just my
can you explain it?
They just don't. Everybody doesn't experience things on the same level as everybody else. It's like I understand the whole thing these days with everybody is what is it? Oh shoot, no, it's my train of thought. Counseling. I get it. However, everybody's life is just not the same. Yes, we do have to visit and get counseling on certain things. So I just don't feel like everybody has the same.
I think I like where she's going with this, and I'm gonna say that it's not that everybody have trauma. A lot of people don't know that they didn't have to have this happen, or they just didn't know that hey, that's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? I remember watching Divorce Court and a young lady lost her child.
Don't laugh. I was trying to be serious. Don't laugh.
Y'all every time Sidney say something, y'all.
You in divorce court.
You know what Jovan remind me of? That host you have that he listening to everything, but when you say something crazy, it's like, and you're like, damn, bro, you just
Yeah, he made a major decision
without his wife's permission, and she was really, really mad. And you could tell she held that it resented him. And when she was talking to the judge said, well, that's not really something that you should resent him for. And immediately you just saw the shackles and the weight fall off. I'm like, okay, cool. A lot of times this is where the therapists come in play. Another thing is, a lot of men, what I had learned is actually a B student. And I wanted to make a program on that. And a B student is a guy who think that he's not he's doing good because he's doing better than the F student. He don't really do his potential. And what happens is a lot of girls, let's say they need help. And we have the mind frame, okay, we're paying bills, we're doing this, we're protecting, but we're not really helping the woman. So the B student is dismissing a lot of stuff that's going on because he think he's good. And this is where women really get attached, and over 2 or 3 years, she's been left because you're a B student. And only certain times after that, maybe cheating, whatever, you realize, okay, I need to start being more attentive. So when it comes to a guy not being in your life and not showing you the love that you felt from your father, what she was saying to me made sense. This is where parents mess up. Parents just assume children are so smart, they would just catch everything. And with your mom and the daughter, well, she gonna notice that she's getting love from me, and this is what she's supposed to get from a woman. And a man is what really sucks, because a man just all we really hear from women nowadays is 6 figures, 6 figures, 6 figures, lead, 6 figures, provide. That's all we hear. So if you say these things and a dude introduce you to this and not showing you those loving things, it's kind of hard to be like, okay, this is what y'all wanted. I'm giving you exactly what y'all wanted because this is what I want to do. This is how men show you they love. And once we start having these conversations and we say this is what the problem is, the real solution is, okay, cool. Well, show us how that look. And that's what men really want. Show me how that look so I can give that to you. That's at least men who are emotionally available, who want you and want to be with you and all these good things. And that's how that goes. If you want to keep talking to the F-boy and you can't keep using the excuses, man, my father wasn't around. So
wait, somebody snatch up Sidney, cause he really look. He sounds like a good man. Somebody snatch him up, y'all. He sounds like a good man right there. Y'all call Sidney. Tell your social. They need to follow Sidney. Cause he sounds like a good dude. He listens. He makes lists.
But that is true though, because
I got your back.
but that is true though, because you know what happens is we tend to when stuff don't go our way in a relationship or whatever the case may be, we tend to try to blame it on other things. And you hear a lot saying, "Oh, well, I didn't have my dad in my life," or "I was this or I was that." Okay, why can't we just
But
look
sometimes that's what it is.
That's true.
That's true. It could be that, but sometimes have we ever looked at it and said, "Man, I gotta start taking accountability
right
for what I have done." You know what I'm saying? Because
I mean, you can always take accountability, but at the same time, if you ain't have a dad in your life, you don't know.
I don't like that thing.
But you need
Some things you don't know.
You have to learn.
You gotta learn.
Go in.
But as you grow as a man, you learn.
But the moment, that's what happens. The accountability comes in the moment you acknowledge it, right? Once you acknowledge, oh man, I didn't have my daddy, it's affecting me in this way. Now you gotta choose. You gotta choose, am I gonna do better or am I still gonna do F-boy stuff?
Right.
That's the moment it happens.
But what happens is we tend to go repeat that same cycle. And then we use that same phrase again, that same excuse. Oh, my daddy wasn't in my life. Oh, my mama was doing this, and oh, I don't know. And it's like, wait, we on number 51st, right?
But like, they not gonna get all up down. They ain't gonna rock that. Honestly,
I was using that, you know.
Yeah, you know what I think?
Change a habit though.
But
like
see, I
20 some
think
days.
it's like Jovan is saying. Some people 21. It is 21 days to create a habit.
I'm gonna be a renewed man in 21 days, baby. Be patient.
Well, no.
But Jovan, like you're saying, if you never had anybody model it for you, now you may be wondering, how do I do this? Right? I think that's the issue for some folks. So they don't know what to do, so they resort back to the old thing.
And Ken, I want to make a comment, right? Because there's, again, I don't think we're taking into consideration how sometimes when that happens, and the same thing happens with us, right? When we don't look inside ourselves and we figure out the type of healing that we need, that get put on the woman, that get put on the man. And a lot of times men look for their partners to be their mothers, and they're not aware of that, right? But what happens when when the woman step back and say, that's not my role to fulfill. Like, I'm gonna be your partner and support you 100%, but I'm not gonna mother you.
Okay, what support?
Look at the men, But y'all want it now. When y'all said leading, y'all were all on
Wait, go ahead.
I don't need a mother. I need a partner.
Right. So press pause. What? Give it examples of when you say.
There you go, say it as
Give us examples.
See what I'm saying? Snatch him up. He asked for it. Come on.
It's good.
Yeah, because I don't like this. Oh, I need a man to be a man. I need a man to be a role model. I need a man to make. Give me some more information.
So listen, it go back to the leadership.
There you go.
Thing. It go back to
I got the greatest cameraman in the world.
Okay.
So basically, you need a man, right? As far as a man go, and this to you, Sidney. If you're a true leader at heart, you'll never be in a situation to where you're not leading. If you're a man, you'll never be in a situation to you're not manning.
That's not true.
I think that's kind of vague. Now, that's kind of vague.
So how do you decipher? How do you
That's what
not
I'm
put
about-
yourself in
that's what I'm
that
about to
situation?
See, listen first, and before y'all answer.
So we was just talking off camera, and at the end of the day, like my wife now, she's a nurse, she's go getter, she's my reflection.
Mm-hmm.
I never wanted that before. Before I went to therapy and realized I had to change my energy to attract what I wanted. I didn't know my energy was fuckboy, so I was going after women who didn't bring a lot to the table, whether it was mentally, physically, spiritually, nurturing wise, whatever it was that I was looking for at the time, it was coming in the packages I was getting. And I always thought I wanted a woman that wasn't gonna work and wasn't gonna do this, that, and third. But at the end of the day, I got with a woman who wanted to do all those things, who holds that woman flag up high.
But sometimes we
But
still
guess
fuck
what?
that up.
But this the thing though.
Even when
I hear-
a woman
I-
don't do all that, we
But
still
when
fuck
she
it
get
up
in my
sometimes.
presence though, like it's a whole different thing. Like she gonna bow to me because I bow to her.
Ooh, I can't digest that.
So it's like,
Cause she knows that you're the man and you're taking care of her, so she's gonna naturally submit to you.
You said you guys bow. You guys bow. Y'all bow.
Natural thing.
Y'all bow to each other.
Right.
That's what he said.
She's gonna
Yeah,
bow.
that's what he said.
She's gonna bow to me because she know I look to her as an equal.
Right.
But this,
But why she gotta bow to you though?
Hold on.
If y'all
He said
are
he
equal,
bowed to her, too.
but pause for 1 second, cause why does she have to bow if y'all are equal? That's the thing I can't get.
Hold
The
on.
wordplay.
That's what it is.
Right, see, that's what I'm saying, right? But words
No,
matter.
why?
Words matter.
Hold on.
If Bae
This
says
is
I
why.
love you versus
This
Bae
is
fuck
why.
you, it matters. You know what I
So
mean?
this is
Words
why.
matter.
So she's gonna bow to me because I bow to her because she's a queen. When you look at these other countries, you look at these people who hold themselves in high regard. The people that are around, they're gonna represent them the best. They're gonna show them the most respect. People look at it as disrespect, but it's actual admiration for the person that's in front of you. We can go to a concert and we can cheer for 60 minutes at somebody. But we get in front of our wife or we get in front of somebody we love and we can't give them that same kind of energy.
That's true.
So that's what I say. When
Yeah.
she can bow to me because I bow to her, I'm going to celebrate her. And I don't lead her with my words, I lead her with my action.
I love it.
I wake up at 5 in the morning, so she wake up at 5 in the morning.
I like that.
I save my money, I work on my credit, so she save her money and work on her credit. I'm not up in here talking her head off.
Yeah.
No, I'm getting up and you know what it is to get with me and I know what it is to get with you.
You ain't gotta tell all them.
Yeah.
Right. So
4 o'clock in the morning.
She's not going to
Exactly. You don't wake up till 7:30.
I won't receive that if I talk to her.
I know some good stuff out there.
So good.
So what I'm about
You
to
taking
That's
us?
cool. I get that though.
so what I'm about to do right now, before we go any further,
You better bow to
But like I said, the only thing was crazy, like she didn't was understanding is bowing disrespect. That's all it is, and that's
She
what
went to school, Sidney.
she wasn't cool with the word bow.
Yeah.
So
Because-
you have been
because-
to therapy, correct?
Yes.
So I can
Yeah,
hear.
that
You
helped
know,
out a lot.
you get a different understanding.
I
when
can
you go to
hear it, it's
therapy
just- I really appreciate so much of what you said. Where I find myself is a little different. And I will wash his dirty feet, everything. Like he can lead them rocks to the backyard. That's where he can lead, because that's where I'm gonna let. You know what I mean? I'm not moving the rocks to the backyard. But when it comes to, I just see things as much more of a collaboration. I do believe there are gender norms that occur naturally, and you're so right about that. Somebody comes in the house, he the one better get the gun, because I'm gonna take the kids and run. See what I'm saying? But
Y'all saying the same thing. Y'all are
Right.
saying the same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
but what I'm saying is, I feel like there are some things that occur naturally, but I feel like those they're not here, right? I'm not bowing to him, right? We can bow to each other, and I feel like that's where
That's
we
what
need
he
to
said.
be.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's what he
It
said.
is situations where and that's where humility comes. Humility runs every type of relationship because there is times where no matter how much I want to lead, and that's where men get caught up in that masculinity because we want to lead. So as soon as we hear our wife doing something or our girl doing something, it's just like, no, I got to make that decision. But in reality, leading isn't making a decision. Leading is sometimes listening. That's why everybody out here, we gotta close our mouth, gotta listen with our ears, and listen, not listen to rebuttal. Let me hear you completely, because I might not still completely agree with you.
Yeah.
At least I know exactly what you mean and where you stand. And if we do that in relationships, we would have been got all the F boys and F girls out of the way 10 years ago.
Man.
Yeah, I can rock with that. I 100% can rock with that. I like
Ultimately, it
that.
sounds like therapy really helps.
I'm going.
Look, I'm about to we all learned that. Go to therapy. That's what we learned.
So with that being said, I can't do nothing else with the show. We you know what? We
We need therapists on the show.
Yeah. So we can, you know what? We man, look. So we gonna, like I said, y'all, this is a 4-part series.
Right.
We gonna do this again. We working on the next one. That's coming up real soon. And because I don't know, did y'all enjoy it? Did y'all have fun?
Absolutely.
I love it.
It's all love.
This was real good. It opened up a lot of eyes to a lot of things that we tend to always say, oh, I know what he thinks, I know what this person, and we really don't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I had a different opinion from Sidney. We all had different opinions from Sidney. All of us.
Like sometimes.
Pretty much.
Right. We all had different things. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But one thing we did sit here and find out that all of us think different.
Right.
All of us are, even though we may have the same principles, we still think different in all how those principles are done.
And that's beautiful.
And that's a good thing.
Beautiful.
That's a good thing. We know Daniela gonna cut people off after one day. You know what I'm saying? They gone
They not
after
gonna
one day.
back off
You better not
Daniela.
sneeze in there.
Yeah, we already know. They gone. It is over with.
Okay.
We know.
I ain't called.
And then we know Daniela don't listen. But we're gonna keep going. We know Laci ain't bowing down to no damn man.
No, don't let them mess up our happy home. We bow to each other. I got you. Don't listen to him.
We know she ain't bowing down to no damn body. We know Sidney in his own atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? He do his thing. My boy just he was almost like our comedic aspect over here. And just word looks. You know what I'm saying? He had the ad-libbing, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, everybody, Shawny gave her passion where it was just like, look, this is what I'm talking about, and this is shit gonna happen. So, and then my girl Renata, she was nothing like a Renata in the hood. She was meek, quiet.
She was Renata.
She was Renata. She was
like that.
Yeah, she was
She gonna fill it out. Yeah, she gonna fill it out. She gonna come out at the end.
and she did just that. You know, she wasn't Renata, what's up? You hit her with that, she gonna look at you like, be quiet, son. So man, we gonna do this again. I really enjoy this, and we it's just something to help us get better. You know what I'm saying? And this conversation, having fun.
Right.
So with that being said, man, I want to thank all y'all for coming. Sit out here with me. I want to thank my live studio audience. You know what I'm saying? Look, the house is packed, y'all. We packed this thing out, and guess what? We gave away free drinks over here. So guess what?
And we ain't done drinking.
Man, so I'm kind of living out my little end of the show dreams right now. I always see this done, you know what I'm saying? I always want to do it. So, Linda, my producer, you got anything, man?
I had questions, but man, it was beautiful.
Oh,
So I had a question about for Renata. She mentioned, and we only had a 2-hour platform, and hopefully we can get 4 next time. I want y'all to share when these clips start coming out. Share y'all best clips that y'all like for yourselves or whatever. But Renata, you mentioned something about being vulnerable, right? So just like the word that Laci couldn't swallow, which was bow down. I get it. No, I really do understand what you're saying. vulnerable is one of those words that means something different to so many people.
Yeah.
Just like Shawny was saying, like with trauma, all these words have different meanings, right? And we have to kind of investigate ourselves, figure out what does it mean to me. Vulnerable, what does it mean? Here's a better question I want to ask. When you think of a man, what does vulnerable look like?
For a man.
For a man. In your mind, don't think about anybody else.
And only Renata.
I wasn't gonna even say nothing, dog. We gonna say nothing. But in my soul, I had something to say.
Only. I was about to say something. Go ahead. No. Right now, we gonna get to everybody. Let's give it to Renata right
I
now.
want to ask for an example, but I know we don't have time for that. We do have 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, yeah. So
You
being
think of a vulnerable man, not the creative person, right? But what does a vulnerable man look like if you walked into a room and you said, "Oh, he's vulnerable"? What are you seeing from him that makes you think that brother is vulnerable?
I don't think I would be able to tell just by just looking at him.
Even interaction. I mean,
Interaction.
It could be a coworker. How would you know that man is vulnerable? And finish it with, what does that mean to you?
So I think that a man who opens up, who is open to conversation and deep conversation, about yourself, your thoughts, your feelings, and things of that nature. That's
stuff like that.
yes. I think that's what a vulnerable man is. And for me, wait, what was the last part?
Okay, so you said that.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you, and how does that bring you value in your life?
Oh, because it means a lot to me. I would love a vulnerable man, because if he being vulnerable with me, then I can just let my hair down too and be vulnerable to him, and then we can be vulnerable together, because that's what
Pretty
it's
much
all
being
about.
open to each other.
Very open.
So
Not
It's a trust
afraid.
issue. It's a
Not
trust
afraid.
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I can trust him to. We gonna take care of each
Yeah.
other's
Trust you
feelings
with
at
my
the end of the day.
stuff.
So real quick. Oh, we got one more.
Could being too vulnerable make you weak?
I don't think so.
Some people look at it.
I was about to ask that. So you're sharing, he's giving. When is he sharing too much and not progressing? Because from my experience, you can share to the point where both of y'all are in a ditch and ain't nobody doing nothing. But you're just sharing each other's pain and what I can't do, and you're moping. Somebody has to be above dirt, and somebody has to be below.
Yeah.
Well,
In my experience.
he definitely would have to take that lead role and lead us. Somebody has to. We can't just be, like you said, under the dirt. We're not progressing. We need to progress. So if the man's role is to lead us, we got to keep progressing. If we're not progressing, then it's no use.
So I know this is gonna seem hard. I know this is gonna seem hard for you, only you, Sidney.
Yeah.
But we gonna do a real quick, about a minute, to everybody give their thoughts. Start with Jovan on what vulnerable. Because we know what's gonna happen when we get around this corner. We know what's gonna happen when we get around this corner. That's why we gotta start with you.
You gotta use wisdom sometimes, man.
Yeah, we know what's gonna happen.
That leader stuff right there.
Around this corner. So
we do it.
It's just a real quick. As being a man, what does vulnerability look like to you? And how if you share it with your woman, what do you expect from your woman when you share that vulnerability with her?
It's pretty much just me being open with her and her being open with me. Just being open, just tell everything. Let everything out. All the hurt, everything. Let it out.
Right.
That's what it is.
To me, it's full transparency, about the future, the past, the now, like your feelings, and I need to be able to trust you, right? So that level of vulnerability is not going to come in the dating stage because I don't really know you and I don't trust you. I need to be able to trust you with my feelings, like Shawny said. I need to be able to trust that you're going to care about everything that I have to say, and vice versa, right? And what does that build? It builds a level of like connectiveness, You know that it's in like no, can't nobody break this, right? Because I know that you got me, and you know that I got you.
But at the same time, y'all actually got to build to that. I mean, that takes time.
Right. It takes time. Exactly. It takes time to get to that place.
They gonna happen in one day.
So what that look like to you?
About what?
No,
What
I'm
it
saying,
means for
what's-
men to be.
What it means for a man to be vulnerable to you, and how can y'all become better if he's being vulnerable to you, right? Would you still be able to look at him as a man, even if in his vulnerable stage he even shed a tear or two?
I think it's really sexy. There's been very rare occasions, but when things have deeply hurt, my man, for example, when his grandma who raised him passed away, and I saw him shed a tear. I don't want to be perverse and say it was sexy, but it was so sexy to see him be so raw and so open and so trusting with me, with how he was genuinely feeling. Now, I mean, it made him kind of sexier to me, but I think that's what builds us, right? Knowing that he trusts me so deeply that things that men aren't traditionally allowed to do anywhere in this space, he's not gonna cry because he loves his grandma, but with me at home, he can cry and I can hold him on my chest and he can know that I got him. That builds us up. So that's vulnerability. Just like you're saying, that trust, knowing, I think more than anything, right? The fact that he trusts me. I miss him. He's kind of feeling sexy right now.
It's the trust.
It's the
I can
trust.
trust you with my stuff, or he can trust me with his stuff. To me, that resembles strength for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you feel a way that you can be vulnerable with me and accept that I'm gonna accept your stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, like she is like, okay, where you at, babe? Because you trust me with your stuff, that's strong.
Yeah.
For me, especially black men, that's strong.
It's the opposite. It's not weak. You know what I'm saying? It makes you strength.
What the fuck he got to say?
I have a lot of stuff to say.
But I feel like sometimes
Sidney, we got a minute now.
nervous,
We got 1 minute.
I say this stuff so a lot of people can feed off it. I do think what she said about vulnerability, if we're both in the dirt, I think that being vulnerable, be like, you know what, babe, I haven't been in a situation in a minute, and I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do, but I'm telling you the truth. You know what I'm saying? Being vulnerable and receiving what I'm being saying. And that dude inspired me to say, my girl, she's fucking with me, she's not mad at me, she's not hurt. You know what I'm saying? She's not trying to leave me in this moment, so I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do. That means if I have to trash, whatever, work at McDonald's, whatever I gotta do to make this money happen, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Because she, you know what I'm saying? I'm sharing my vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
These two showed some vulnerability and it made me look at them differently. You know what I'm saying? In a good light. You know what I'm saying? The vulnerability was she's been divorced recently and she has a husband and they've been going to church for a long period of time. All these things were vulnerable and it helps me want to build a connection with these people. Mm-hmm. And that's how I look at vulnerability.
But Laci married.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I just said 20 years.
Oh my God. Babe, you got anything? You got anything? My beautiful wife, you got anything? Good show. So, look, like I said, be on the lookout for part 2. It's coming real soon. My guys, my girls, y'all was wonderful. I really enjoyed. My man Cartel for doing the camera work and for getting the words, man. Give it up for my man, dude. He did his thing today. So with that being said, I'm about to go real preachy right now, y'all. I'm about to go preachy on y'all. So look. So with that being said, I enjoyed everybody, man. Thank y'all for coming out. So stand in your seat, hug somebody, take his peace, take his grace. We out of here.